Before we get back into the game, I would like to talk about stats a bit. Since our game does have stats enabled, we get one of these nice HTML pages every turn, and it should provide a bit of an overview of what happens in the parts of the world that we can't see. So this is the scores for turn 11, that means after 10 turns played. And these are the scores after turn 10, going into turn 11. First, the provinces. The leader by quite a margin now is Arco. That's not a surprise since they've won a bit on, I think, 4 or 5 mercenaries. The only strange thing is that they find this many provinces to take. Because I know that if I hired mercenaries, I wouldn't be able to take that many more provinces, right? I would be able to take maybe one more because of the travel time involved. But apparently they're taking provinces that one might say belong to other nations. I don't think that the number of provinces is that important. Gem income should be much more important, but you need provinces for that, so this is a good indicator of overall growth. So yeah, they're ahead by a lot. I don't know just how many more provinces they can take without attacking anyone right now. Second place is me. Was a bit surprising for me, because I always thought that Agatha's expansion was not that great, or that I'm not great at it. It doesn't feel good for me anyway. It certainly helped that I got the good mercenaries for 3 turns, but even if I didn't have them, the impact would show very clearly. I would have 3 less provinces. That's very simple to calculate, so I would have 12. I would still be in second place. Just much farther from first place. So I'm not sure what everyone else is doing, or if I underestimated Agatha's expansion. So next up we have Helheim, my northern neighbor, and Abysia. No idea where they are. At 10 provinces, which means 1 province per turn. Which is, well, I suppose, that's what I would consider a baseline, 1 province a turn. If you can't do that, I'm not sure. Something strange must have happened. But more than half the players in our game were not able to do it. TNG and Yomi on 8, and then 3 people on 7, and Mashaka even on 6. Yeah, they took a throne last turn. I think they concentrated on that. Could be a good idea, could not be, and they are very far ahead in research, as we'll see. Yeah. I didn't have the stat pages saved for the previous turns, and it turns out you can't access them on the server. But I looked at them, and some nations, I think Ur and Yomi it was, we're still centered on 1 province on turn 4, I think. So maybe they're just newer players, not great players. I don't know, I've never played either nation, so... Or maybe that's a good thing to talk about. I played a bit of Arco, I know roughly how they work, same for TNG. Never played Mashaka outside of the very short tutorial, never played Abysia, never played against them, I think. Never played them, never played against them, I think. Never played them, absolutely never played against them. Never played them, but played against them when the AI was playing them. Never played them, and played them 1 game, I think. So I'm not super familiar with all these, but I've looked up the nations that are bordering me, TNG and Helheim, for a refresher on what units they have and what are their strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. Okay, so forts. I have 3 forts. I knew I would be a good bit ahead on that because I had the 500 something gold gift, which was basically just a free fort. Next to the Keom and Helheim on 2 and everyone else on 1. First year is ending soon and most people are still on 1 fort, which means their mage recruitment will probably be really slow. But considering this is a newbie game, I don't expect there to be a whole lot of aggression early, so you can probably get away with not having forts in situations where good players would immediately punish you by taking everything you own. Of course, it's hard to see who has forts in building since they take so long. It's very possible that starting next turn everyone will be on 2. Who knows? Income, which I think is very important. And I'm first, very closely before Arco. That's a bit surprising to me because quite a few of my provinces are hill provinces with low income, and I do have a lot of provinces, and I guess the 10% more income from the Palisades help a bit to push me slightly ahead, and he has to have a lot of crappy provinces. And I remember I have this underwater provinces with 20 and 25 income, and his appear to be even worse in parts. Helheim again, next highest. Kelom, Niflheim. This looks like a very low income. I think everything below 700 when there are people over 1,000. That has to hurt. You want your growth to be exponential, always. You want the gold. You want more gold so you can invest in more troops, so you can take even more provinces, so you can get even more gold. That doesn't seem to be happening for them, which makes sense because if you take 1 province a turn, your growth is not exponential, right? It's linear. Yeah, TNG on 500, Mashaka on just a bit over 500. That makes me think that probably these players are not great. In particular, TNG, Mashaka, Ubisia, Yomi and O. I think everyone in the game is fairly new to the game. I think most, if not all of us, bought it in the last summer sale and then played it for a month and a half before we started this game. But personally, I know I put in about 60 hours of pure playtime and some more hours of reading about the game on the forums and playing with the Dom 4 mod inspector to learn more about the spells and the units and whatever. And I'm guessing other people, well, I played a more reasonable amount of time during those 6 weeks, and it shows. But that's a lot of conjecture. That's a lot of reading into just 3 numbers we've already seen. So maybe that's not it. Gem income predictably low for anyone. I don't think anyone has really side searched more than half their provinces. In my case, I've only searched 1 and got lucky. And a few people haven't side searched at all, which I don't think is solvable at this stage in the game if you do other things. Research, fairly important, of course. Mashaka ahead by a lot on 170. He was ahead right from the start. I think he recruited only researchers every single turn, which might also explain why his expansion was so slow, if he just recruits the most expensive researcher. But I haven't looked up who that might be for Mashaka. TNG, pretty strong. Yomi too. Well, these are the nations that these are some of the nations that have poor income and haven't expanded quite as fast as the others. You can see the ones that have expanded, Arco and me and Helheim, were the last by far, but as I predicted in my last video, I'll start overtaking people very soon because I'll be recruiting mages from 2 centers starting this turn and from 3 starting next turn, so I'll be behind on absolute research, but I'll be far ahead on research growth. I'm not sure if this is a viable strategy to go for research first and go for a research target like whatever, level evocation 3 for fireballs or whatever, and then have that carry. I think it seems to me like most of the provinces at that point will already be taken. So you can only attack your neighbor with your superior research, but you will have that much more income that, yeah, you'll fry a lot of his chaff, but he just has twice as many troops as you, so I don't know. Haven't played enough. Dominion spread, super ahead on Niflheim and Kalum. I'm pretty sure they both have awake pretenders. Their Dominion numbers have started growing very fast from early turns, and in fact with Niflheim I know they have an awake pretender because he claimed the throne. Yeah, everyone else. I'm not sure this is an important metric. I'm just somewhere middle of the pack. More to the bottom, but what's the difference between 77 and 87? Not so huge. Anyway, by far the lowest is Helheim, which is interesting to me because they are my northern neighbor. And I already have templed up right at their border right now, so that could go even lower, or at least won't be going as fast. Army size seems like a bit of a stupid metric. First of all, it looks like it's counting mercenaries, which won't be sticking around for long. So Arco looks very strong, but they'll have contracts running out soon. And they might not want to renew those contracts because there's no provinces left to take for them. And then they're down to 40 man army for defensive purposes, which is could maybe be punished by other players. But I'm sure he's recruiting his regular troops while he's expanding with the mercenaries. Here, somewhere around the middle, doesn't say a lot because what matters for me is not total troop size but all count. I'm sure it's the same for many others. Sacred count, TNG has great sacreds. Niflheim is on 27 troops, but their giants are super strong sacreds and very expensive, so of course they'll have fewer troops. I can't really read anything out of this because, like I said, I don't know most of these nations that well. So yeah, I get how Niflheim can have low army size and still expand well and still be a threat, but I have no idea if Yomi 75 is that a lot, or are they more, or do they have all the monkeys that are horrible and they should have 140 troops instead? I don't know. Victory points, not really important, just shows who got thrones. Arco got two thrones by now. Good for them. Many people on one. I don't have one, and Yomi and Ur don't have one. I'm working on. I have one in, what is it, 3 or 4 turns, so I'm not worried about that. I'm a bit worried about Helheim because they're my northern neighbor and they're doing well in expansion. They are one of the few nations that already got a second fort up, and I know their troops are very strong. They're good income, so I'm guessing that's a player who knows what he's doing. I'm not so worried about TNG. Yes, I think he had the lowest income currently, 494, yeah. So, like, with that low income, you can't even max out on secrets every time. And they have amazing secrets and are carried a lot by them, I think. Well, he's a pretty big army, though. So well, I guess his archers are good and his normal troops are good too, so it's not just his sacreds that are carrying him. But I'm less worried about my southern border than the northern one. I'm not worried about Ur at all. He was the only one who has given me a bit of trouble on diplomacy because our capitals appear to be very close together, and taking the water provinces that will be close to his capital, and he doesn't like that too much. But really, he's not doing great on research. He's doing bad on expansion. He has a small army. Not too worried about that. Niflheim I started to worry early because, first of all, the giants, I know they're amazing, but now I know that he is in Wake Pretender with blesses. I'm guessing he has blessings for his giants. So if he has something like 9-4, or this means he has horrible scales, like truly horrible scales. So that should work out fine. Arco, of course, I'm a bit worried about them because they are just really far ahead on provinces, and if they have more provinces to take, I think they still have 3 mercenary contracts this turn, and then 2 are running out. I don't know. I'll have to check in game. But yeah, they're of course huge empire. Other than that, I'm not too worried about anyone. Well, that's it for the turn 10 analysis. I think I'll do one every 10 turns, or for special occasions. And now back to playing turn 10.